Okay, today I'm using a local view. It's actually of the road going up from Northgate up to the top of Mount Diablo. It's a photo I took a long time ago. But what I did is I drew in the sky is your lightest. Then this back hill, I want you to notice how blue it is. Sort of this interim hill, I made sort of a blue-green. Then I came, so this is French ultramarine blue plus cerulean plus white, and actually a little bit of cad scarlet. This is that color plus some yellow ochre, some additional yellow ochre, getting yellower as I come forward, moving into cad yellow pale plus the cerulean in here, and moving all the way forward down here with that cad yellow pale and the cerulean and a little touch of cad scarlet, because now up in here we start to see some red colors. And in some ways they're not quite as bright as those. Plus, I don't want you to just look at the bottom of the painting. But what I'm really aiming for today is to sort these colors out, to make them distinct from one another. You stop being confused by what you're looking at in your painting. I'm going to just start painting, and I'm going to go pretty rapidly. And this is because so many people paint Mount Diablo, and I think you get caught in all the stuff on the hills and things. So I'm just going to come in, cover my line, paint your sky every direction, remember that part. And I'm trying to do this pretty quickly, so it's just a short video. Light down towards the top of the mountain. Cover your line so your mountains don't grow. You got clouds in there, and you want clouds or something over the horizon. You can come back in with white, maybe a touch of yellow, and just throw in some cloud shapes flat at the bottom, a little rounder at the top. You can throw in some cloud shapes if you want, something like this, if that's what you like. I know it's hard to see on the video. Okay, still have white on my brush. I'm going to go in for this bluer area. It's, like I said, it's a French ultramarine blue plus, it's basically the color I drew with French ultramarine blue, cad scarlet, and then some cerulean and some white. And although the photo doesn't look this way, we are going to paint this pretty darn blue. And I'm doing that because I need this to go back. And all these trees and stuff back here, we can't see them. You can't see those shapes. I know the photo has them in focus, but if you squint, you can't see them. If you want to break up a little on the ridge here, so it says, oh yeah, there's some growth out there, feel free. But by the time you get down in here, you can go a little darker and put some of these little tiny, tiny trees in. They're tiny. Don't make your shapes too big. Be sure that as you come down in this area that you sort of keep the colors close and push back. I'm trying to get you to push things back. Okay? I didn't really talk about where I'm focusing, but I'm really focusing right in here. So all this other stuff and this area too have to go back. This in here is sort of a yellow field. So I'm going to grab another brush. Again, you should be working with the biggest brush you can handle. I'm going to take yellow ochre and white. And if necessary, just a hair of the cerulean blue. Test that area. Yeah, it makes it a little green. Maybe I want it a little bit whiter. But you're going to need to come out here and just keep this kind of to the light side, you know. And again, notice I'm not, I'm covering my lines, but I'm trying to give you some direction. It comes down this way. Now that hill sits back. Now I'm going to go for this one, which is the same color as this with a little yellow ochre. So I've already got this color kind of mixed up, so I'm just going to go ahead and use it. I grabbed the wrong brush probably. Double check it. Yep, there it is. Okay, and again, my stroking is the direction of this hillside. Give it the feel of it coming down here. Okay, keep it pretty flat. Make sure your trees don't get too big. Come over the lines you're using to draw them. Notice me rotating my brush. As I come down, I'm rotating the brush. Okay. Rotate the brush. There's just not enough paint on it right now. And come down and over this and pull that in. Okay. I think this is again another little yellow area. So I'm going to take what's on this brush, add that yellow ochre that I just had in the background up here to this little bit of light in here. Okay, so that we can see that little area in there. Okay, these are trees and they're a little bit darker. So I'm going to go ahead just looking for another brush. I'm selective on my brushes here. I want a big one. There we go. And these are darker trees, but they're just like all trees. They're darker on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and make them a little bit darker on the bottom. That's actually a lot darker. But let me just throw them in there. Okay. And while I'm doing that, let me throw in the dark side of these trees. And I know there's some trees in here. And I know there's a few trees sort of at the base of this hill that we're not really seeing the whole tree. There's just sort of a group of trees here that cover the road that we're seeing here. By the way, please notice right now I'm not looking at a reference. I'm looking at my painting. I'm trying to decide what's going to work for my painting. I made these pretty dark, so right now I'm just going to come back in with something a little bluer. It's kind of bright. Let me get that in there. That may be too bright. Let me calm that down with a little Cad Scarlet. So I'm going to take that Cad Scarlet or that Cad Red medium, Cad Red light if you have it, and I just go over that a little bit. Just calm that down. That blue was just a little too bright. Okay. I'm going to come back and get the tops of these trees. So they're dark. So French ultramarine blue and yellow ochre. Okay. It's a little ucky of a color right now, so I'm going to add more yellow ochre off to the side, so I'm not right in there, and a little bit of cerulean, and I'm getting sort of this oaky blue. Let me test it. Yep, there we go. Okay, let's get some of these trees in here. They're back. They're sitting back. They're a little bit bluer. They have not a lot of detail in them, so don't paint detail. Okay, they're just back there, just sitting along this ridge line. I need to lean over and check that as I come down here. These trees start to have more color. So let me grab some of the green, a little white, a little Cad Yellow Pale, make a different green. These trees are starting to have more color to them. So, and they're in front, and they have a darker base to them. So each time I come back and I paint a different tree, I'm going to make it slightly different color. Just not the same color as the last one. I'm using yellow, Cad Yellow Pale. I'm going to go ahead and throw in a tree or two here that's way yellower. Okay. Up in here, let's go a little oranger. I think this photo was taken in the fall. I don't know. I took it many years ago. I think it's in November. So I'm just going to go here. Get these sort of oranger versions in here. Again, notice that I'm just painting something that's sort of coming out from the bottom, a little rounder on the top, and I'm not trying to worry about them too individually. I'm going to paint a little greener in here, get these trees in, okay? So I have a lot of trees in already. Here's this hillside here. I'm sort of looking over. These were all covered with trees. I am looking at my photo reference for a moment, just to make sure I'm on the right track. My photo reference is lying down over there. It's not super bright, but I can kind of see it. And again, I'm not so worried about it being the right color. I'm worried about getting the right feel. I know I see that this is sort of a tree-lined area, so a little bit of lights and darks. Just throw a little dark in there that's be under these bushes or trees. And you could just make it a sort of a straight line if you wanted to. You don't have to paint all the trees in. Remember that thing? Be the artist. But for now, I'll just do this. I think I'm going to bring a little more light in here. There's another road back there I think I'll leave out. I just put it in to sort of figure out where I was drawing. But I think I'll leave that little road out. Come back in. I'm going to grab a little more white up in here. Touch more yellow. Yep, that's a little better. Sort of moving away from the green. Let's see if I can pull it back. I liked that gray green I had earlier, so let me come back and add some of the cerulean to it. Yeah, a little bit better. And a touch more white. Okay, so we got this in there. Got a little light in there, break up our trees a little bit, shape them if you want. We can come back and put more trees on top. Let's get down here. This is where trees are starting to get dark on the bottom, and we're starting to have that road come in. So, one of the big things here, sky is light, road is light. Road is light because it's reflecting the sky. So, if it's too white or blue for you, add a little bit of the Cad Scarlet. Then you gray it up. I'm running out of white. Let me get some white there. Add some. Get the road in. Let's see where that road goes. Okay. We have a road going off there. And then the other reason I selected this particular reference was I wanted to I wanted you to look at the loop in the road. It's just like a stream. And it's really important that it stays flat, that the road doesn't grow too fast or come uphill too fast. I got a little piece of something in my paint, a little dried up piece of paint. Let me get that out of there. There we go. Okay, so in here, this is a very flat curve. The road, it comes out at this point and disappears behind this hill. Then it comes back in here and it comes out here. And it does the same thing here. It comes out and comes around this point. And it cuts back. Over here, there's a tree in the way. The road comes through here. And it does this arc here. It comes out. It's like the edge of a bowl. Okay? It comes out. And it cuts back here. And then I sort of cut it off a little bit. There was road here. Okay. Road in here somewhere, okay? And because I'm not really interested in the road, but I was just interested in you seeing it, I'm just going to let that go. Now in here, I'm going that very bright green. That very bright green is, let me wipe a brush. That very bright green is Cad Yellow Pale, Cerulean Blue, and white. Okay? And you're just going to have to figure out which way you're going to lean. Are you going to lean more yellow, or are you going to lean more blue? I'm going to lean more yellow here, and go get this bright green in here that's coming in, and it's blocking the road there. Okay? Comes around, and it blocks the road. So paint it flat. Paint it the direction it's going. Paint it flat. And then up here, I'm going to get a little bit brighter because I added so much white. I'm going to go a little greener. And in here, this is going to come in front of that. Okay, so I'm intentionally coming in front of each of those shapes. Okay, so this one's back there, and then this starts to get a little greener in here. Let's pull a little bit more of that little greener out there. Okay, and now I'll put the rest of the trees in. These are trees down here. There are trees in here. Road comes around. Again, I'm checking the reference so that I'm not too far off from what you guys are looking at. And then there's this hill, and then there's trees in there. Now these trees are less solid, and they have more definition because they're in the foreground. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to take, again, a big brush. I'm going to go back to my dark color. I'm going to come in and get the base of this tree, base of these trees, base of these trees, just a little darker. Right along this side are some more trees. Oh, bunches of trees here. And again, just a little darker in here so I can get these trees in. And I'm going to start left to right, or right to left, or whatever. It doesn't really matter. I'm just going to grab some greens and say, okay, here's one tree. Okay, and plant my tree in there. Which way is my light going? It's a midday photo, and my light is coming ever so slightly down towards us. That's why we're getting a little bit of shadow here. There's no shadow on the road. There is a little bit of shadow here on the road from some of those trees. Then I come into these trees. These trees are a little more sparse. So instead of painting them pure green, I'm going to come in here, pick a yellow green, sort of something yellow and kind of whitish. Okay, I know I don't really care too much about what color they really are, but let me see. They're kind of purplish, a little bit of an oak that is without leaves at the moment. So let me go a little bit violet. I couldn't remember what color they really were. So I got my alizarin crimson going, and I'm going to come in, and these are just a little, they just don't have leaves on them, so they are sparse. They're just this gray thing. Okay, don't overthink it. Change them just like you would anything. Change the next one so they're not the same. Make this one taller, make that one shorter, put another one behind. Just make them vary. Come over here, you got a green. Come over here, make something greener. Make it stronger. Let's go bluer. Just a brighter green. Throw in something that looks different, okay? I think sometimes everyone's so worried about matching what's on the photograph that's inaccurate to begin with, that you don't take some opportunity to say, oh yeah, this would be interesting if I came in here and I went whiter or something. Which is sort of why I have that over there, so I can't really see it. Okay. And let's put another couple trees in here, and they're all sitting under this ridge. Okay, what does that mean? If they're all sitting under that ridge, it means that that ridge has to come in front. So I'm going to come here. I could see a little bit of shadow, so let's just say we can see some shadow towards ourselves. Let's say we can see some shadow towards ourselves in those, okay? And now all I'm going to do is come in here, around the trees, reshape the tree as I need to fit my painting. Okay, and there's probably some field in there. So let's just put field in there. It's nice to have a break up in the tree, so let's just put field in there. There's probably field back there, so let's just change the color every time. Don't let that color all be identical. Let's change it a little bit. And if you're concerned about the fact that it's not the same, take whatever's on your brush, move some over here. Okay, now that looks okay. We have a little bit of a dark edge under here, so let's go ahead and put that in. Let's get that in under here, under those trees. Push it up a little bit. make it look like it's has a little more flow to it. Let's throw some dark in under this. So I just added some of the color that's already mixed up on my palette in for the bottom of these trees. I know those aren't orange, doesn't matter, it's just thick, it's thick brush. You know, this stuff is just thick. And it's got a lot of stuff going on, and people are always going, well, I don't know what to do. Well, separate them. It's your job. Find some colors, take something, push it, separate it. I just went a whole lot more yellow, said, oh, let's make a couple of these things stand up out a little bit. Okay. And I think we're nearly done here. There's a couple in here that maybe they should be a little oranger. So I just took some of the Cad Scarlet or the Cad Red Light that you have and just threw it in here. Let's throw a little bit of that down in here so it doesn't, like those trees don't, two trees don't look like they're the same tree. Let's come back in here and break those two trees up. Let's just separate them a little bit. That doesn't read well for you. Come back in, grab a little bit of white, and come out here. I have white plus yellow. Come out here on the tip of this tree and just make it pop a little more. Just up on the tip. Okay, get a little blue. Come make this one pop a little more out on the tips. Okay, and that just seems to be kind of a mush ball. So let's shape it a little more. Let's say, oh, let's just make it taller. Say there's one here and there's one over here or something. Let's just change the skyline, because you can do that. You're the painter. You don't have to paint. I know for a fact that this does not look like this anymore. This was taken, I think, in 2004. So it's an old photo. Okay, going to come in, grab this front of the hill color here that's coming up in front of these trees that we're looking down upon. Fill this area in. Again, paint your strokes the direction the hill is going. So this hill kind of has this flow to it. So paint that. Get that flow established. This is a road we're running into. Sort of stuck it in the corner here. The road would have a dark line on the edge, so don't forget to include that on this edge that we're seeing. So I'm going to grab a little bit of that French ultramarine blue and just say, oh, there's my edge of my road, and then my road goes around the corner. And let's just throw this in here. It's out here, and we're stopping by the side of the road. And if it really made you feel like it was worthwhile, you could throw a fence or two or anything else you wanted in. Okay, so we're set now. This is what I was doing. This is what I'm trying to share. Got the sky. You could define that more, but it's okay not being defined. Sky. I'm making that blue. I'm pushing it back. I'm making that green. I'm pushing it back. I know it's full of trees. I know you can see all those trees. I don't need to put them in. I'm making this green. I'm bringing more color and brightness in here. This is where you're looking. Background, middle ground. I want you to look in the middle ground. Foreground. Don't get caught in detail. Don't overdo. Okay? Make your statement. Go on. You can always come back and bring detail in. I see this line here, and I sort of there's a part of me that wants to change it, and there's a part of me that likes it. So I'm going to leave it for now, and I'm going to let this dry, and I'll come back later and change it if I want. Change it if I have a change of heart. One of the big things here is to stop. Get your canvas covered. Big areas. Stay away from detail. Big simple idea. Background, middle ground, foreground. Decide where we're looking. We're looking in the middle ground here. And leave it be. Bring in detail after you have lunch or something. Have a break. And keep painting. Enjoy.